What's going on, guys? This is the first episode to those oldies but goodies. The story behind this channel and the way it came about is I just got a call from my grandfather actually today, and he was like, "Hey man, what do you say I send you a bunch of songs from my generation or from my time or any type of oldie songs for you to react to see if you like them in your opinion and speak on however whatever you want to speak on it." So here we are. The first track we have today is called Any Way You Want It, and it's by the Dave Clark 5. I got a little information to share. So in 1964, this song reached number 14, and then it was number 9 in the cash box. So, I mean, without further ado, let's get right into it. So. So far, this is really good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little skeptical when it comes to oldies music because obviously the sound quality is not what today's music sounds like. So it's very hard to get into some old songs. But right away, I hear a lot of effects in this, much more than I thought there was gonna be. I didn't think there was gonna be a lot of I wouldn't call them ad-libs, but they do a little trailing of the words a little bit, and it echoes, and I think that's cool how they figured out a way to do that back then in 1964 at least. It's a lot easier to do it today, I'm sure, but back then, I mean, the technology was very limited, so I can only imagine how long it took for it to actually sound like that. Alright, let's get right back into it. It's alright, it's alright, so any way you want it, that's the way it will be. You don't want money, you don't want a diamond ring. Hey, you say you want my loving more than any other thing. Hey, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright. So any way you want it, that's the way it will be. Any way you want it, that's alright by me. Any way you want it, that's the way it will be. Any way you want it. Let's pause right there. Alright, so from what I'm getting from this song, it sounds like this guy's in love. He's like, you don't want money, you don't want, I think he said, you don't want a diamond ring, you just want my loving. Back then, this is how women were. Today, this is not what it is. I'll tell you that much. It'd be more like, all you want is my money. hey, you don't want my loving. That's what it would be. But I'm really digging this vibe. I don't want to talk too much over the song because it's got a really good vibe to it. It's just like, hey, just a good vibe, just bounce, just kind of those dancing songs. Back then, this is something that they would get groovy to. It's a word I learned that was used in the 70s. It's what they do. They get groovy to it. Alright, let's get right back into it. You can call me any way you want it. You can always hear me say, hey, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright. So any way you want it, that's the way it will be. Any way you want it, that's alright by me. Any way you want it, that's the way it will be. Any way you want it, you can call me any day. Any way you... Man, it's like everything's in sync. It's like this guy's voice is hitting those drums perfectly, hitting that guitar right, hitting those... It's different listening to music back then than listening to music today because obviously we have a whole different sound, we have a whole new, equipment. So this is just, I can tell this is just straight raw. They're them in the studio with their instruments, with one record button, bam, and they all play together. And that's exactly what you hear. It's just that, and that sounds amazing. That's how music should be today. But of course, it's very polished and very perfect. No complaints there. But back then, this is all you had. It was a guys in a room sweating to death, trying to make a record. That's what it sounds like, and they're not disappointing, man. This record, as the kids say today, is a slap. Whatever.
You will always hear me say, hey, it's alright, 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 so any way you want it, that's the way it will be, that's the way it will be, that's the way it will be, that's the way it will be.
Love the way that ended right there. Just boom. That was it. That's man. Let's check out the comments real quick. Let's see what people are saying. Okay, there's still people rocking out to this song today. Now this guy says it's a stunning record. I've still got the vinyl. Too bad Dave Clark himself is apparently holding it hostage, because I would love to be getting this on CD. Yeah, it sounds like he's very from what my grandpa told me, he's very protective over his music. So this video might get fucking copyrighted. Who knows? But man, that was a good one. It really was. I'll definitely add that to my. It's just a real jam, man. It's something that. Let me take these off so I can hear better. But it's something that I don't know how to explain it. Let's look it up. See if we can figure out what about the Dave Clark 5 real quick. All right, Wikipedia is not the best. I don't trust it so much, but let's get a little insight. So let's see. They were an American rock and roll band. They formed in 1957. But they had their first, and this was in the UK actually, top 10 single in 1964. Glad All Over, which knocked the Beatles' I Wanna Hold Your Hand right off the charts. That's crazy. I've never heard of these guys, but apparently they have the power to knock off one of the best songs in the world, I Wanna Hold Your Hand. So, I mean, that shows you how strong these guys came out. But let's see. So it says that the song peaked at number 6 in the United States, and that was still in 1964. Although this was their only, UK number 1, they topped the US charts in 1965 with their cover of Bobby Daye's Over and Over. So it sounds like they were a big hit in the UK, kind of a big hit in the United States. I would say pretty big, but not as popular in the UK for some odd no reason. But hey man, those British people, they love their rock and roll music, that's for sure. They were the second group of the British invasion to appear on the Ed Sullivan Show. That makes sense why they're pretty popular. For 2 weeks in 1964, following the Beatles' 3 weeks the previous month, they would ultimately have 13 appearances on the show. So that's crazy. So the group disbanded in early 1970, and on March 10th, 2008, the band was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So it looks like they didn't last too long. I mean, it still says that they did pretty good. I mean, numbers don't lie. They had 12 top 40 hits in the UK between 1964 and 1967, and 17 records in the top 40 of the US Billboard chart. So, I mean, from the start of it, it didn't sound like these guys were too big, but that's a pretty big thing in 1964. So I would say so myself. Okay, here we go. Sounds pretty interesting. So between 1978 and about 1993, none of their music was available to be purchased in any commercial format due to its rights holder, Clark, declining to license the band's recordings. This guy, Clark, is a smart guy. He is, but he could be making a lot of money. That's for sure. It says he made a deal with Disney-owned Hollywood Records to issue in 1993 a double CD, History of the Dave Clark 5. That was pretty cool. No DC5 material was then legally available until 2008. So when the 28-track hits compilation was released in the UK by Universal Music, it says that in 2009, selections from the band's catalog were released on iTunes. So it sounds like this guy finally was like, all right, I need some money, because he realized his music is amazing. So Dave Clark was also the band's manager and producer of the recordings, but following the group's breakup, Clark set up a media company. In the process, he acquired the rights to the 1960s pop series Ready, Steady, Go, Additionally, he wrote and produced the 1986 London stage musical Time. That's pretty cool. Where he directed the last performance of Sir Lawrence Oliver. Don't know who that is. And it says something about a 2-disc vinyl was released in conjunction with a stage production featuring music recorded by Julian Lennon, Freddie Mercury, Stevie Wonder, Cliff Richard, Ashford Simpson. Okay, so it sounds like, I don't know if this guy worked with these people, but there's a lot of names they're throwing out here that some of them I recognize, some of them I don't. It says that the group was inducted by Tom Hanks, who wrote, directed, and starred in the 1996 film The Thing You Do, which was about an American one-hit wonder band that became popular in the wake of the British invasion. That makes sense. This must be either sort of about them or it is about them. Either one. We'll figure it out. So it says in the attendance with the 3 surviving members of the DC-5 were the families of Lenny Davidson, Rick Huxley, Dennis Payton's 2 sons. Mike Smith had planned on attending but died 11 days before the induction. Wow. Dave Clark opened up his acceptance speech, okay, so he's still alive, by saying that he felt like he was at the Oscars. Davidson's family mentioned that they arrived in New York for the ceremony exactly 44 years after the group's first appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show. Joan Jett honored the Dave Clark 5 by performing bits and pieces. That sounds pretty cool. Joan Jett was joined by John Fogerty, I think it is, John Mellencamp, Billy Joel, and other artists who performed throughout the evening. Yeah, man, Dave Clark was the backing and occasional lead vocals. He also played the drums, it says. He had a spin-off group. Apparently, Mike Smith was lead vocals, keyboards. He also was in that spin-off group, but he died in 2008. Lenny Davidson was backing and occasional lead vocals, lead and rhythm guitars. He had great guitars. Rick Huxley was backing vocals, bass guitar, sometimes rhythm guitar, it says. He died in 2013. Dennis did backing and occasional lead vocals, tenor, baritone, saxophones, harmonica, rhythm guitar. I guess anything that he really could get his hands on. Looked like it. He was mainly, but he died in 2006. I mean, this guy's not stupid, though. He's smart. He's got all his rights to his songs. You know, nobody can control his rights. Nobody can just put his music out there. He's making money from it. This guy is smart. This is how you should be in the music industry when you're dealing with that, because it's a lot of people take advantage of other people. But it sounded like these guys were just, they had something to say. They came, said it, and went. And that was it. But yeah, man, that was the first video of the reaction. I know it's pretty long. Hopefully that the editing will cut that down. But I'm just trying something new. We're bored in quarantine, got nothing else to do. So if you guys want to come and watch me jam to some oldies and hearing it for the first time, then I guess we'll see you next time. But anyway, this has been Those Oldies But Goodies. I know, it's corny. I know. Look, man, I couldn't think of anything. And what better yet a way to describe listening to oldies but goodies than a title like that. So that's where we're at. Hey man, we got some vinyls up here. Check it out. Ultimate Run DMC. We got Simon and Garfunkel, Man on the Moon. That's Kid Cudi. I had a couple around here somewhere. 21 Pilots. Got a record player right here. I have one of those. I know what that is. I know I look young, but pretty spry for my age. All right. I'll see you guys next time. Enjoy.